Hello fellow paranormalers and welcome to this channel. Surprise surprise, I'm not talking in my car. I thought we recently did an investigation at what was a lunatic asylum in Oxfordshire, and I just wanted to maybe go through just what we take with us on, or I take with me rather. I mean, my other team members take their own equipment and we all sort of share and whatever our equipment. But this is what I take with me, this sort of aluminium box thing, and I thought I would just share what I take with me when I go and do investigations. Yeah, it's. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not a techno freak. I don't like lots and lots of equipment. I like to keep things fairly basic and things that work, you know. I think in addition to what I've got here, the only thing that I'm thinking personally about getting is an RF and EMF meter. There's a very good company actually here in the UK that make them, and I'm looking at getting one of their sort of mid-range sort of semi-professional meters. We use those mainly for going around the site or wherever it is we are to measure RF and EMF levels to see that there's nothing obscure before we actually start doing any investigation. And this is what we did yesterday when the other team members had an EMF meter, and you know, we always just go around and check these things out first. So anyway, let's look inside the box. Right, so apart from the only thing that isn't actually, if you like, in this box or this list is any cameras that I take. I generally take a very high quality digital camera with me that can do video. And also I take a little tiny camera that I use for most of my vlogging, which is like a flip, you know, it's like a hand little thing. I'm not a great one for, you know, video recording everything. I think a lot of the time it's kind of unnecessary, really. Some people like to get kicks off of that kind of stuff. I'm actually more interested in communicating with spirits, etc. So if I am taking a camera, I will take this mini tripod with me. Really neat, very small, very compact, very light, which is quite handy. Okay, aluminium box. You know, it's a bit disheveled. It's been around and seen a lot. So just generally speaking, I think it's a, or used to be a camera case maybe. I mean, it is actually pretty old. This box is actually quite heavy, and as I unpack it you'll probably see the reasons why, but it's not so heavy. I've walked a good mile to a site before. You know, they're sort of half a mile there, half a mile back again to go and do some investigations, and yeah, it was a bit heavy, but you know, it's well worth the kit, and it's all contained in one nice case, which is, you know, when you're going on a site you don't really want to be carrying around lots of equipment. So okay, so I think what I need to do is pull this forward maybe and then get rid of this. So okay, in here, sort of plastic container with all the bits, which I found fitted rather well in here. Baby monitor, which Mike Paranormal will recognise. We have this beautiful piece of equipment, which probably a lot of people recognise as being the portal inspired by Steve Huff. I'll explain all this in a little bit more detail in a minute, but we have various different things like incense, a special spray that we use, and another little box full of bits. And this is just one of those little collapsible tray things. I find it quite handy to just put things in while you're moving around and carrying equipment. You can just put the whole lot all in there. You know, it's quite easy, and that's basically it. I mean, that's the case. So I'm going to put this down. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Okay, so first of all, we got a little mini tripod here. I bought on eBay some. It's a portable baby monitor. Now, lots of people have recorded sessions and such like with baby monitors. I don't think it's a particularly widespread sort of use of technology, but it does work, and it works really, really well. So you switch these things on, you pair them up. You can put the transmitter in one place with your spirit box and then go to the opposite side of the building or a room or whatever, and you know, the theory being that it amplifies you know, and encourages spirit communication. So, but I find those work actually really, really quite well. Let's go down the front here. In here, okay, ominous white envelope. In here, basically, we have our Oxford Paranormal Protocol document. It's a 3-page document. It basically explains who we are, what we do, our experience, our background, what the purpose is of what we're trying to accomplish, our role in society, our role in the paranormal realm, and you know, society and community and stuff like that. So it just sort of helps the client to understand that we're actually trying to be as professional as possible, that we're not just some sort of amateurish ghost hunters, as it were, with some, you know, some bit of kit. This is obviously the portal. We've already done in-depth videos about how to build this. There's plenty of videos about how this thing works. At the end of the day, it enhances spirit communication from whatever device you actually plug into it, whether that be a you know, a spirit box like the PSB7 or any other radio suite box of some sort, whatever it is you've got, apps on tablets and such like. I mean, they all go through here. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know what this is, this grey big box here, or the lunch box, is very, very powerful but very small battery powered or mains powered amplifier. Makes a huge difference. This device here on the side is called a decimator. This basically filters out all the rubbish like white noise and other clutter that goes through. That then goes through an effects device on this side, which then you can add reverb and tone quality, delays, and you know, the length of the reverb and such like. And there's different reverb settings on here, so you can make it sound like it's in a cathedral or an echo, or you know, not at all, whatever. But anyway, it's very, very adaptable piece of kit. One of the things that I actually use as well, and this again, you know, my own personal, I use a pendulum. I've been using pendulums for decades, and you know, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and I tend to actually use crystal pendulums and things. So yeah, I use a pendulum. I like using pendulums. They work well for me, and they're very good for just making sure that things are actually what they really are, which is quite useful. As I say, this little plastic thing's good for putting equipment in if you're having to carry things around. In this box that I carry is batteries, a whole load of different types of batteries. I've got spare cables should I lose the cable for this device. I've got a mains cable for this should I really need it. Most of the time I'm using a 12 volt 4.amp-hour battery for this because it needs to be portable, and it's very easy to carry around. So that's all this is. But we make sure that I always make sure that the batteries are replaced in any equipment that we're taking, and I also carry lots of spare batteries. You know, anyone who's worked in the paranormal field knows that the worst thing that can go wrong is really you either run out of batteries or your batteries go dead for some inexplicable reason. Okay, so that's that. I'm a big one for taking spares. Should we ever need it, white sage incense sticks, they work actually quite well. We also make and have our own crystal cleanser and purification spray, which is much like the white sage. It works actually, you know, really, really well. Good for sort of clearing yourself afterwards, or to actually clear a room of any negativity before you really even start. All depends on really what you want to use it for. Definitely use this after if you've been psychically attacked, or you feel like you've been attacked by something. You know, so definitely have that. All of our members have this. Very important, notebook and pen. I've got 2 recorders. Sorry. Okay, this is the battery, 12 volt, 4.5 amp-hour battery for the portal. I've had this running on the portal for 6 hours straight to try and run down the battery, and it doesn't even come anywhere near. And after our investigation for 2 hours yesterday, this battery literally only took about 15 minutes to recharge again. So, you know, the portal itself takes very little current, which is really good. But if you were to use the AA battery pack that they recommend you use with this, your batteries will drain really, really quick because it just hasn't got enough ampage. Okay, you know, for those who are in the know, I also, apart from this kind of incense, I also carry with me some candles, night lights, lighter, proper charcoal, and proper incense, specifically for various different investigations that we do. I've got a mini tripod here that I tend to use with a recorder. Keeps things nice and still. Okay, I use 2 different types of recorders. I actually have more, but the one that I actually like a lot is the Olympus DS40. Olympus DS-40. Really, really good, very sensitive, and produces really, really good audio. Very good for also EVP recording and such like. Just on its own, I use this. It is actually very good. On top of that, I was able to get, for recording things from EVPs and such like, audio from the portal, I use a Zoom H4n. Okay, this, I've not been very successful in picking up EVPs so much with this. It will pick up EVPs, but I think because it's a high fidelity recorder, it doesn't seem to be actually really, really good. But I do use it a lot when I'm recording with the portal. I've got the old classic Altec speaker. Really, really good speaker. I would highly recommend you actually keep one of these, but really, since I've had the portal, no longer use this, but I still keep it with me. I've got a windshield for the Zoom or for the Olympus recorder. When you're actually outside, you need something to stop the wind noise because the microphones are so sensitive, and one of these works fine. You can pick these up from, you know, Maplin or anywhere really. I think I got sort of 5 of these off of Amazon for 5 or 6 quid. They're not particularly expensive. Carry around a spare bottle, and also in here I carry around some spare joss sticks. This is a crystal cleanser. Joss sticks are actually good for, it depends on the actual site that you're going to. I tend to burn these really only outside or in derelict buildings where, you know, there isn't really so much of a fire hazard. These can sometimes just create a little bit of an atmosphere, and I've been told many times that the spirits actually like incense. So, you know, I do carry around different types of incense. Okay, something else I carry with me is a rather special pendulum. Again, I'm a bit of a pendulum user. This is one I made up, I think, nearly 30 years ago, and I still use it. It's made out of pure copper. So yeah, I mean, this is a real special pendulum for me. Highly recommend, you know, to use an alternative, very, very basic, simplistic, and something that's tried and tested. You know, it's well worth actually learning how to use things like pendulums. I also, for those that, you know what these things are for, I also carry a scrying mirror with me. This is one I made out of a pocket watch. And then the inside, you know, opens up and reveals scrying mirror on the inside. I'm not going to explain what what I use those for, but you know, those who know what scrying is about will know what I'm talking about on there. Oh, this is just a. I sort of use this every now and then, but if I want to actually speak to sort of spirits at a different level, I tend to use this little disc, which is just indicates yes and no, and you know, there's numbers and letters on the back, but generally don't tend to use that. And of course, last but not least, spirit boxes. Good old trusty PSB7, which I still use, works really, really well. I find with the portal, it works excellent. It gets rid of all that horrible, loud white noise, and you can get a decent recording, and all you really hear is the click, 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 click as the, and even that's not particularly irritating, is the click, click, clicking of the station changes. Okay, and then another box that I was very grateful that someone helped me to hack, which is a Philips radio, an R876 radio. I'm not actually that happy with this, the way this works so much. It's not very clear, and I think it just comes down to the actual quality of the electronics on the inside, and even when this goes through the portal, it's still not particularly clear. But you know, I have had communication through this, and it works. It works. So I tend to carry that around with me as sort of more of a backup to anything, really. So that's what I carry around with me. Hope you found this interesting. And yeah, any questions, then leave in the comments box down below. I'd be interested to actually hear what other people take out on their investigations. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video.